Have you ever had someone hurt you and then make you crazy for noticing? Because that's what happened to me. 1 week before the biggest family photo of the decade, my sister-in-law smiled at me, picked up a pair of scissors, and cut a chunk straight out of my hair. Not a trim, not an accident, a chunk. On purpose. And when I told everyone what she did, not one person believed me. They called me dramatic, jealous, a liar. So I stayed quiet. Until the photographer sent the raw, unedited photos, and one of them revealed something worse than the haircut. Something that had been happening for 3 years, and I never even saw it. My name is Mariana. I'm 32, and I still can't believe the worst betrayal of my life came from someone who was supposed to be family. Every 10 years, my husband Daniel's family takes one photograph, not a casual snapshot, a full production, everyone in white, the beach at sunset, a professional photographer. The photo that gets printed, framed, and hung on Grandma's wall like a trophy for the next decade. And this was going to be my first. For 3 years, I'd been Daniel's wife, the outsider, the one people were polite to but never warm with. They didn't insult me, they didn't yell, they just kept me at arm's length. And I spent 3 years thinking it was my fault, that I wasn't warm enough, funny enough, family enough. And Daniel never saw it. He traveled half the year for work. To him, every dinner looked fine, everyone polite, everyone smiling. He saw what he wanted to see. So later, when I tried to tell him something was wrong, he didn't hear a family that had been turned against me. He heard a wife who just couldn't fit in. Looking back, I can see the pattern so clearly it makes me sick, because one person was always in the middle of it. Vanessa, my sister-in-law, the golden girl, the pretty one, the one everyone adored, and the one with innocent comments that sliced you open and smiled while you bled. A year before the photo, my husband Daniel's father had a birthday dinner. Vanessa called me beforehand, sweet as honey. "Oh, Mari, don't stress. It's super casual. Jeans, whatever." So I wore jeans, and I walked into a room full of gowns and suits. Everyone formal, everyone perfect, and me in denim, in the center of it all. Vanessa looked me up and down and said, loud enough for the whole table to hear, "Oh, did nobody tell you?" I wanted the floor to swallow me. And the worst part, people didn't laugh like it was a joke. They smiled like it was proof I didn't belong there. At the time, I told myself it was an honest mistake, but my stomach already knew. It wasn't. So when, 1 week before the big family photo, Vanessa texted me, "Mari, come over, let's get ready together," I actually teared up. I thought it was peace. I thought she finally wanted me in. I was so naive. I showed up and she greeted me with a smile that was just a little too wide. "Your hair's a mess. Let me help. I trained as a stylist, you know." And I let her. I literally put my head in her hands. She brushed it, she fluffed it, she made little comments like she was doing me a favor. Then she said, "Just the ends." And then I heard it. One sharp snip. So loud, my body jumped. "What was that?" I asked. She smiled. "Oh, nothing. I just evened out a piece." I turned toward the mirror, and my heart dropped. She had cut an entire section from the top, a huge piece. Gone. Not even, not straight. Destroyed like someone took scissors to a carpet. "Vanessa, what did you do?" And she had the nerve to look offended. "Don't be so dramatic, Mari. It's just hair. It grows. You're always so sensitive." And she said it loud, on purpose, so that if I reacted, I'd be the crazy one. So I swallowed it. I swallowed humiliation. I swallowed rage. I smiled with my throat tight. Then I drove home crying in silence like a woman who didn't deserve to be believed. The day of the shoot, I did everything I could. Flat iron, gel, clips, prayers. And it still looked wrong. Her grandmother murmured, "Poor girl, what a strange haircut." Daniel asked me what happened, and I lied. I cut it myself, because the truth would have made me the problem. And Vanessa arrived flawless. Perfect hair, perfect dress, perfect glow. And every time the photographer lifted the camera, she drifted to my side. Every single time. Not once did they put me in the center. Not once did anyone say, "Mariana, come here." In that photo, I wasn't family. I was an accessory. On the ride home, Daniel kept pushing. "Mari, what really happened?" So I told him. "It was your sister. She did it on purpose." And I swear, I don't know what hurt more, the hair or his answer. "Don't be ridiculous. My sister would never." I went quiet, and something inside me just switched off. She sabotaged me, and I was the liar. A month later, the photographer sent the raw files. Hundreds of photos. I almost didn't open them because I didn't want to relive it. But I scrolled anyway. And then I found it. A frame that should not exist. A shot where Vanessa thought the camera wasn't on her. She's looking at her husband, she points at my hair, and she's wearing this smug little grin. Not an oops grin, not a nervous grin, a proud grin. A I did that grin. Like she was showing off a masterpiece. I didn't say a word. I just walked over to Daniel and turned the screen toward him. He stopped, breathing. "No. No way." "Yes way, Daniel, and you called me dramatic." He called a family meeting. Vanessa denied everything, instantly. "She's lying. She's always been jealous of me." Until Daniel turned the phone around. Her face went white. Her husband stared at her like he'd never seen her before. "What the hell, Vanessa?" And then his grandmother spoke. The same woman who whispered, "Poor girl," about my hair. She looked at me, and her voice shook. "Mariana, is that why you always seemed so distant from us?" I blinked. "What?" And then she said the sentence that made the room tilt. "For 3 years, Vanessa told us you thought you were better than this family, that I found them boring, that I didn't want to be close, that I didn't want them. That's why we kept our distance," Grandma said quietly. "We thought you didn't want us." The room went silent, and the floor dropped out from under me. 3 years. 3 years of feeling unwanted, 3 years of cold smiles and polite conversations that never turned warm, 3 years of thinking I was failing at being family. And it wasn't me. She built it, lie by lie, conversation by conversation. She didn't just cut my hair. She cut my relationships. She cut my place in the family. And the hair was never the beginning. It was just the first time she got caught. Vanessa, cornered, exposed, nothing left to hide behind, finally snapped. She screamed, "Because she outshines me. They always notice her. I'm sick of her ruining everything just by existing." There it was. Not an accident, not a misunderstanding. Envy. Raw, ugly envy. A woman so insecure she'd erase someone else just to feel like the center of a photograph. I could have screamed. I could have burned the whole family down with my voice. But I didn't. Daniel's voice came out like steel. "Vanessa, you will apologize, and you will never be alone with my wife again." And then Grandma stood up. She walked to the wall where the big family photo was already framed. She took it down. "This one's wrong," she said, and she replaced it with a different photo from the raw files, one the photographer caught by accident. Me, laughing, real, unposed. And for the first time, I wasn't on the edge. I was in the center. The outsider in the center of the wall for the next 10 years. I looked at Vanessa one last time and I said, I hope you find peace, because someone as beautiful as you on the outside shouldn't carry a heart that hurts this much. She dropped her eyes, and for months she didn't speak to me. My hair grew back. The wound took longer because the hair wasn't the betrayal. Belonging was. And the day I stopped begging for a seat at the table was the day I realized the seat had always been mine. Now tell me the truth. Was I wrong to forgive her, or would you have made her pay? I'll read every single one of you in the comments. And listen, if this story hits something in you, if someone ever promised you just a work weekend while they were hiding a whole double life, then stick around. Like this, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to see it today. Because here, one story always leads to another.